Today we're looking at the INMOTION Climber, probably the most powerful scooter I have ever ridden or reviewed here on the channel. But before we do that, let's take a look at Amazon and see what people have to say about it. TP says, I got it to go 21 miles per hour in sport mode for a moment before it gets capped. 4 stars. Their website says it goes 24 miles per hour, so of course, I'm hoping it gets at least that. TP also says, the downside is that its range is actually about 15 miles if you granny it, which is obviously way below the rated range. Fuji says, I live in a mountain town and hills are everywhere, and this baby has no problem going up hills at around 14 to 17 miles per hour. Now, the reason I gave this 2 stars, I'm just gonna type these the way they were written, is the distance and battery life sucks. I went 6 miles today, not 35, 2 stars. Well, Fuji, we have a lot of hills in our area as well. Hills even greater than the 35 scale, so hopefully we can do better than 6. Adriana says, they show everybody climbing hills. Problem is the app doesn't want after reading some of the reviews. If I wouldn't know this, I wouldn't got it. 2 stars. Well, I guess we'll see if it connects to the app. Now, the last review comes from someone named Dooman. This scooter runs well and it does climb because all I have in my town is hills. But I have to go 4 stars because there is no suspension. So it rides hard, like riding a buckling Bronco. Hard on joints because the suspension is you. Better have good knees. Okay, let's unbox it. Now it says this is made for adults, but it is also the smallest box I have ever been sent for any of the scooters that I've reviewed. You got a power adapter. In the toolbox you get your kickstand, as well as you get a couple Allen wrenches and the rest of your charging cord. Oh, and they also send you a couple spare tubes, which should help smoothen out the ride, even though this scooter does not have any suspension. This scooter is all about power. All right, so let's start here by screwing on the kickstand, and we'll lock in the steering column, connect the wires up to the controls, put in 4 screws on the stem that do come with Loctite on them, which is also pretty standard. And here it is, the INMOTION Climber. Okay, so we're starting to prove whether or not this thing is an actual climber or not, and this is the best hill to test this on. This hill is over 35% grade at the top. You can never tell in cameras, but we're gonna go give it a try. I weigh, like I said, about 185 pounds, so we'll see what speed I'm at the top, and Devin's gonna record me. So as I started going up the hill here, I was going about 16, 17 miles per hour, and about when I got to this car here at the steepest part, it dropped down to about 13, 14, and it held that all the way up. I have to say, these brakes are probably some of the best brakes I've ever had on an electric scooter. Now, let's try what happens if I start on a steep hill like this from a dead stop. Let's just see the acceleration. Since you can make it so it doesn't have to have a push start, that's really valuable for a hill like this because you don't want to have to try to push it up a steep hill like this, but you have enough power to actually get going just right from the bat, even if you're a heavier guy.
19, 17.
What was your top speed?
Like 19.
19?
Like it got 19 for a second.
So you're only a couple away from the max, all the way up that hill.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So this is probably the steepest hill we've done yet on this journey. I'd say it's close to 40% grade, maybe 35, 36, something like that. It's very steep. I've never been able to come up all the way on a scooter before, on a single motor scooter. Even the Highboy 700 watt I haven't been able to do. So I'm gonna go down the hill and try to come back up again. We'll see what my speed is. All right, here we go. 12, 13, 14 miles per hour. 14, 13. It's crazy. All the way to the top, still 13, 14. That's impressive. All right, so we're gonna do a brake test here. So we're gonna come down, I'm gonna go, let's see, 15 miles per hour down this hill, lean back a little bit. Oh man, just incredible. All right, so you can't really hear me here because I put my mic down by the electric brake, but I wanna show you what it sounds like. And that's one thing you want to remember about scooter brakes. You don't want them to be too aggressive because if they are, you'll find yourself going over the handlebars real quick. So yes, Fuji, I have to agree. It goes up hills like a billy goat. 14 to 17 miles per hour was the same as I got, so we must be similar weight. However, the range was totally different for me. As you can see after this ride, I spent most of the entire time on hills testing this out, and I still got home with 23% and over 14 miles of range. So definitely got better range than 6 miles. And on that note, it's a great time to talk about the actual INMOTION app. Now I have two products by INMOTION. I have the Climber scooter, but I also have the INMOTION V14 Adventure EUC. And the first time I turned these devices on after I got them, I opened up the app, and now when I go into the app, I can easily switch between the two different vehicles that I have. They're both right there. You just tap on them and it will change. It connects very easy. All you got to do is turn on the scooter, and if your app's already open, just come in here and hit refresh on the connecting, and just like that, it's connected. You can see it says my battery is at 100%, and it gives you all your current ride stats right there, as well as your total mileage. So right now you can see that over 2 different rides that I've done for this video, I've gone 23.4 miles. Now, something that's very important to be able to do with electric unicycles or scooters or anything like this is to be able to check on the battery health. And INMOTION gives you the ability to do that with their vehicles. Right here on the bottom of the app, it says battery information. Now, for whatever reason on mine, it's not loading anything. So I'm gonna reach out to INMOTION to know why mine is blank, but I'll show you what it's supposed to look like. If we switch over to my electric unicycle here, and I go to battery information, I can see the health of all my different battery cells. And I can know if there's anything overheating. I can find out what the voltage is of all my different batteries. I can tell if one's starting to get weak, and that's what leads to things like battery fires and stuff. So knowing and having the ability to see the current status of all of your batteries is huge. In fact, I wouldn't even recommend something, especially something that's high performance, unless you have the ability to check on your battery. So I'm assuming I'll get a software update or something that's going to fix that on my app, but it does have the ability to do it, and it does say that on their website. But from the app, you also get basic controls like capping the speed, your ride mode, you can turn on cruise control, which I don't really recommend. It can kind of get you in trouble, especially if you're a new rider, because it locks the speed on until you hit the throttle or hit the brake. You can switch from metric to imperial, and you can choose zero start, which is what I was doing, so you don't have to actually push off to go, you can just start by going. And most of them do give you that option. As well as you can control the brake force. So if you want it to be a little bit more brake than what I was showing in the video, you can adjust that here. I have mine set at 50%. And you can get firmware updates, which is really nice, and do a diagnosis. So I can take it here and see if there's any errors or anything with the scooter. So you get a lot of control with that, which is really nice. You can also lock the scooter if you're gonna be going into a restaurant or something. And if you're really in analytics like I am, you have this detailed data button, which allows you to go in here and see what the total mileage is, your total ride time, your current voltage, and other things like that. So you get a lot of stats. So as far as is there an app and does it work? Well, it's always worked for me with both my V14 and the Climber. And of course, it gives you that battery information, well, hopefully soon on the scooter. So I have to disagree with that review. They got an excellent app. In his review, Dewman described the scooter as a buckling bronco. I'm assuming he meant bucking bronco. And to be fair, without front or rear suspension, you do get tossed around a bit. However, the air-filled tires help absorb some of that impact. Now, I reviewed other scooters like the Highboy, which are in a similar price range and come with full suspension, and it's definitely nice. However, you have to keep in mind that while the Highboy tops out at 700 watts, this scooter has 2 750 watt motors. If they added suspension, the price could easily have climbed over $1,000, making it less attractive for the average commuter. Where you really feel the bumps is when you hit bigger obstacles, like tree roots pushing through the asphalt. But for the most part, on sidewalk transitions and small debris like pebbles, you barely notice it. Honestly, even though I enjoy the playfulness of full suspension, I don't find myself missing it here. You're too busy enjoying the 1500 watts of power from the dual motors under your feet. All right, so one thing that's kind of nice about this scooter is it is a commuter scooter, and because of that, it has some of the important things like blinkers. However, they're not big and intrusive like some of the scooters. So there's a little switch over here. It's right on the hand. You got a front and back LED light on either side. They go for 5 seconds, automatically turn off, so people can see on the front and they can see from behind you. Now let's talk about acceleration. Remember how TP mentioned he maxed out at 21 miles per hour? INMOTION's website claims a top speed of 24 miles per hour, but I have to agree with TP. I pushed it as hard as I could, and on flat ground, I was never able to get past 21 miles per hour. Going full throttle downhill, I managed to reach 23 miles per hour, but I never hit the advertised 24 miles per hour. Now, the scooter experts explain that the max speed is determined by lifting the scooter off the ground, allowing the motors to run without any resistance. While 99% of the time, the max speed was at 23 miles per hour, I did notice it briefly hit 24 miles per hour a few times. Unfortunately, not when I was recording. This really highlights the power of the dual 750 watt motors because with the scooter on the ground and me riding it, I was able to get close to that no resistance max speed. But the real point to focus on here isn't the top speed, it's how fast you get there. This scooter accelerates to 21 miles per hour incredibly quickly, and that makes the ride feel powerful and responsive, even if you're not hitting that 24 mile per hour mark. Before I wrap up this review, I want to point out a few more features. The scooter has an IP56 waterproof rating, which means it's protected against harmful dust and high pressure water jets from any direction. It's rare to see a budget scooter with a dust rating, so I was very happy to see that included. INMOTION also claims that the scooter can reach 16 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds, and under the right conditions, I found that to be accurate. They also boast you can change the tire in under 10 minutes, which may not seem like a big deal, but trust me, on a scooter, it really is. And of course, you get Smart BMS, battery management system, although mine wasn't working as expected. It's supposed to monitor battery performance and provide extra safety. Here's a picture I stole from their website. So what are my final thoughts after 35 miles on this scooter? For under $1,000, it's one of the best deals on the market, especially because of the dual motors. If you commute on hills or want a bit more speed, the scooter delivers. However, if you don't need the extra power, or if range is more important to you than speed, you might want to look for a scooter that prioritizes battery life over performance. As I mentioned earlier, I got around 20 miles on the battery in sport mode, which is really the only mode I use. In standard drive mode, with fewer hills, I could easily see you getting another 10 to 15 miles. Overall, I've been a huge fan of INMOTION ever since I bought their V14 electric unicycle. I love how they focus on safety, power, and build quality. Let me know what you think of this scooter in the comments, and thanks for watching. And just for the heck of it, here's some bonus footage of me riding my electric unicycle in the woods near my house. Enjoy, and see you on the next one.